welcome to episode 3 of the Pop Off with Belle. I am your host, of course, Belle. Okay. Today's episode is stacked. And I mean, it's stacked, like hella stacked, because, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened this week. And so we got to talk about it. But before we jump into that, I just want to say to the 40 people that have listened and viewed, the first 2 episodes of this podcast, I appreciate you. Thank you. I really do. I appreciate you. I know that there's a lot of podcasts out there that are similar to what I'm doing right now, and that's okay. That is totally okay. I am doing this because I miss connecting with listeners. If you don't know, I am a radio personality, and honestly, I've worked in almost every facet of media at this point, and it's been up and down for me. But I'm a radio personality. I was recently in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I moved to Las Vegas to work in TV news. And little did I know the way TV news was going to go. And it's been a crazy year thus far. So I'm doing this because I miss talking about entertainment and pop culture. Like, that's really my thing. And I also miss connecting with listeners and whatnot. And radio itself is going through some very significant changes throughout the industry. A lot of companies being bought, people being laid off. Technology is constantly growing, the works. Yeah. So I decided I wanted to do something like this for me. And so I pray that with time and prayer and a lot of therapy, that either another on-air personality position will open up for me, or 2, this podcast will do so well that radio will come to me instead of me begging them to see me. That is my hope in this. So with that said, let's get into these big 3 stories that have happened this week. Of course, Diddy was sentenced on Friday. Bad Bunny was announced earlier this week to headline the Super Bowl halftime show in 2026. And the never-ending beef between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Child, this beef been going on since Jesus was a baby. So buckle up. We got a lot to unpack. Are you ready? I am. Let's jump into it, okay? We're going to start with the first huge headline here. Of course, Sean Diddy Combs was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison. And according to AP News, Diddy was sentenced for the case involving sex workers, violence, and a lot of freak-offs. And we talked about this before, how he was going to court to try to get it changed and all that. But a lot of things were discussed during this 8-week trials, 2 months working in news. We covered it from left to right, front to back, in multiple ways. And everything from Cassie Ventura reliving her trauma of being abused by him, to hearing about these freak-offs, and also hearing how he transported sex workers was a lot. And AP also reported on this because during sentencing, accounts from other victims, including his former girlfriend Cassie and another individual known as Jane, highlighted the physical abuse and coercion that they went through while they were with him in a relationship. And I can only imagine, because they only played a portion, or only told like small parts of what Cassie went through while he was with him. Also, too, Dawn Richard, she talked about what she went through while she wasn't dating Diddy, but when she worked with him, first with Danny Kane and then with Dirty Money, she talked about a lot of the abuse that she endured while working with him and writing The Last Train to Paris. In that, too, while Diddy was being sentenced, he expressed deep remorse and he apologized to his victims and his family. And I have some quotes from the podcast because I don't want to go down this road without reference, but they talked about a lot about this letter that he actually written, and it was dated on Thursday before he was sentenced on Friday. And so he said some of the quotes in there, according to NBC News, he said, quote, "I lost my way. I got lost in my journey. Lost in the drugs and the excess. And my downfall was rooted in my selfishness." He wrote this to a U.S. District Court judge. And he goes on to say in that letter also, just got bits and pieces, that over the past year, there have been so many times that I wanted to give up. I wonder how those victims felt when you were abusing them. Okay. There have been some days I thought I would be better off dead. The old me died in jail, and a new version of me was reborn. This is what he wrote in his letter. But was it really reborn? I mean, I guess we'll see over time, right? And during that, Rutgers is saying that he became emotional about this and talking about this. And he goes on in his letter to take full responsibility for the abuse towards Cassie and other conduct. And he said, quotes in that letter, speaking on Cassie, the scene and images of me assaulting Cassie play over and over in my head daily. I literally lost my mind. I was dead wrong for putting my hands on the woman that I loved. I'm sorry for that, and I always will be. I don't think he was really sorry. I think he just is sorry because he got caught on that camera. And even though those people took that $50,000 at the hotel, that video footage still got out because somebody was going to get that out there. There was no way. I think at some point when you think you are bigger than the world, or that your actions will never have consequences because too many people were too scared to speak up, somebody is going to be in that space. And it's always the person you don't think it's going to be that will take you down. Now, whoever that was, I'm pretty sure they pat themselves on the back a couple of times. Like, yeah, I did that. But here's my thing. I've been thinking about this. Why is it every time a man who has this much power takes it way too far, right? And then when they are finally caught, all of a sudden they feel remorse. Harvey Weinstein, I think Bill Cosby apologized to some of the women. Who else? I don't think R. Kelly ever apologized for what he did. I don't think he ever did. And that's a whole nother subject. But there's been a lot of men that have been in power, terrorizing women for decades. And then all of a sudden, when they get caught, arrested, sued, is out in the public, especially now with social media and everybody having a YouTube channel and a podcast, now all of a sudden you feel bad about it because your whole life and everything is destroyed, right? You weren't feeling that way, Diddy, when you were dragging Cassie down the hallway in that hotel or terrorizing members of Danny the Kane, okay? Or even like holding the publishing for your bad boy artists from the 90s. You gave it to them last minute and half of them can't even do nothing with it. Like when you think about all the things that he was doing before the lawsuit came down from Cassie, and then this federal case came down, he really was trying to save face, and it did not do well for him at all. It gives narcissists, truthfully. And I'm going to be honest with you, when like all this stuff was happening, I was like, oh my God, Diddy is really trying to do some good stuff. Like I was really like for him until I read that lawsuit with Cassie. And I was like, oh my God, this, I don't even want to use that word, but this fool really thought he was going to get away with all of the heinous things that he did to women and men also too. There were men that were actually sexually assaulted too, or drugged or beat up or whatever by this man. And it went on for years. And as a survivor myself, I want to say that this sentence itself, only 4 years and 2 months, it hits differently. It's really disgusting. I can't even get my words out. That's how mad I am. It's disgusting. I mean, I know we shouldn't be surprised, but I am kind of surprised. It's very triggering, and it's proof that really that power can protect people for way too long until it doesn't anymore. But I still feel like it's protecting him because he only got 4 years and 2 months. And it's very triggering. I mean, like his career and everything, his legacy is like done, but still, he needed longer than that. And the only reason why I say that, this comes from a person that honestly, for me, I didn't realize I was raped until years later. It took me a long time to realize I had been raped by somebody that I was seeing and by an ex-boyfriend. And I was sexually assaulted by somebody that I trusted that I thought was going to help me with my radio career. When in all honesty, and this is like kind of off book, but it kind of comes back around. I trusted this person. He said he would help me with my radio career by going into modeling. I know right now I look like, ooh, could I model? And for like people that are listening and not watching, right now my hair is like put up in a halfway ponytail with a headband, looking a little bit crazy. 'Cause I need to get my hair done, and I got my glasses on with no makeup. Uh, and a lot of blemishes on my face from hormonal acne as I'm 40. Um, as someone that trusted a person that thought they would really help them, and he really was trying to turn me out into a, this is the first time I've ever admit this out loud, actually, as a porn actress. I was 20 something years old. I was in my younger 20s trying to figure out my life. And I trusted this person to help me with my career because I had no clue how to get into radio. I just took classes for it and I knew I wanted to do it and I didn't know how to do it. And this is the route I was trying to go. I was trying to be a video vixen. So I was really trying to do anything in order to get to where I need to be. And that's why I bring this up. Like, it's like when you think about men like that will use women that are talented or trying to be talented. I know that's not the way to say, but trying to be in the business and they're trying to figure out a way to go, they'll use their power against you. And so when I think about Diddy doing this, it's so hard to like not get mad saying his name or even thinking about the correlation between some of the stuff that he did to these women and some of the stuff that I also have gone through being a sexual assault survivor and a rape survivor, you know? This is why, though, most women don't report domestic violence on them. They don't report their rapes or being sexually assaulted because they know they're going to get a slap on the wrist, no real time. And we also know that Diddy will not serve the whole sentence. He's going to get out on good behavior. If not time served at some point, they're going to do some credit on him. He should have got at least a decade. But more than anything, his career, his legacy is all ruined. He's going to go, if he's smart, he'll go into hiding. Okay? Yeah. So, with that said, let's shift gears here. Some good news this week as we heard Bad Bunny has officially been announced as the Super Bowl halftime performer. And this is huge. Why is it huge? Okay. USA Today points out that this will be Bad Bunny's only U.S. date after canceling his entire U.S. Tour. I mean, the U.S. leg of his tour that he was going to do last year. He decided not to come here because he wanted to protect his biggest fan base, which Hispanic and Latino communities, they really love his music. I was listening to it the other day and I said, oh my God. And I've listened to a little Bad Bunny, but I ain't listened to him like this. I said, I'm going to be jamming at the Super Bowl halftime show. But yeah, he's like done some really big moves, being independent, doing his residency. And not only that, like he made millions for Puerto Rico with his residency himself. This was really huge news. And celebrities were out in droves to see him. Like we saw LeBron James at one point. We saw John Hamm, who said he's a very big fan. There were so many people there. It was crazy. I think I even seen people that I know from social media that made their way down there because this was such a huge thing on there. And so when he was at his final residency dates, the final show was actually aired on Amazon Prime and it had more than 11 viewers. So, I have a feeling myself that his performance, him being on the Super Bowl halftime stage, he's going to have the biggest numbers ever. I think he would be close to Michael Jackson because I think Michael Jackson had the most viewers because he was the first ever halftime show. Not only that is Michael Jackson, but I think he's going to be very close to Michael Jackson. And I think it's going to be a lot of people are going to be happy to see this man on stage, but also too, a lot of people are going to hate watch to see what he's going to do or who's going to be out there. Okay. So now MSNBC has also reported that, the other side, the Make America Great Again followers, conservatives, have been having meltdowns over his selection. I gotta find. Here's a clip. Just listen to this clip right here. Now, y'all, if MAGA is mad, you know it's about to be a show. They've been mad about every artist that Jay-Z has had a point in putting on stage since he even took over the NFL. I mean, Kendrick Lamar killed it. Usher killed it. Rihanna has killed it. So, and even when he did the Welcome to LA, where it was Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige. Who else was on the stage? Did he do the game? I don't think the game was on there. Oh, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was up there. I'm surprised he didn't have the game on there, though. The game should have been a part of that. I forgot about that. That's what you get when you talk junk about people. But you know it's going to be a show. I think that he's going to do really huge numbers, like I said before. I sound like that man. I think. No, he does the hand. Oh, my God. And I also think about how, like, a lot of people have said when Bad Bunny first started, he was backing groceries for $11 an hour. And now he's one of the biggest Latin artists, or not even just Latin, biggest artist in the world. And this man is independent. He's an independent artist. He never signed with a record label. He's done this all himself. That is crazy, right? Like, oh, I can't wait to see him on stage. So the big question is, who's going to join him on stage? You know, will it be J Balvin? Will it be Karol G, or maybe even Drake? You know who I think he really should have on stage? Cardi B. They got this song. I like it. If they don't do that song together on stage, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel. But I know who else would be mad. Her rival. It's a good segue, right? Okay, let's finally talk about the mess here. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. They went back at it again after Cardi B dropped her latest album, sophomore album, Am I the Drama? Which, by the way, even though it's 23 tracks, Cardi B, don't do that to us again, okay? Don't do a Chris Brown. It's really a good album. It's a good album. I can run you down some of my favorites right now. Okay, you ready to hear 'em? I'm gonna tell you. Airtime. That's my number one favorite. Salute. That's my second favorite. Hold on. Let me pull out my phone because I got them on a special list. So you gotta hear it. You gotta hear these. I had to take a moment to listen to her album because I listened to it halfway through. Then I turned it off, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because it got late and I needed to go to bed. I'm 40. I can't stay up like the young kids no more. Okay, so here's my other ones too. So I already named Airtime, Salute, but also Hello, Magnet. Of course, to me, honestly, I like Imaginary Players. I think it's a good song. I've never heard Jay-Z's version, okay? But obviously he loved it enough to approve it. So I love that. And then, like I told you, and I like Pretty and Petty. Yeah, and that's the end of it for me. Like, those are my favorite songs on there. But yeah, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, they have resurfaced their beef. From what I saw, because personally, I muted and blocked Nicki Minaj. I just couldn't take her no more. But the beef resurfaced on social media, and Complex Magazine did kind of a deep dive on it. I want to post some of the tweets on here that they went through, but they definitely include going in on the kids, Cardi B telling Nicki that she need to get therapy, which I agree, okay? And speaking on her children. That's just too much, okay? But yeah, Complex did their thing. They did a deep dive. They showed how the feud escalated, and they showed it in a way that both of them was just hurling insults at them. I already told you what some of them are. She done told, Cardi B told Nicki Minaj to go to Chuck E. Cheese and leave her alone. And even at one point during this Twitter fiasco that was going on, Cardi clapped back at Nicki with, "You're almost 45 arguing with a 30-year-old with 2 kids. Sit down." And then, Nicki thought she had to double back down on this and claim that Cardi has ghostwriters and isn't on her level. I don't want the barbs to come for me, but I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, okay? I've been listening to Nicki Minaj for a very long time. The Nicki Minaj that we currently hear and see right now, sorry, I'm on a little raggedy table. The people that are listening can't hear that. But the people that are fans of Nicki Minaj right now, there's no way that if you haven't been a fan since day one, that you can be cool with her behavior or the music that she has put out as of recently. Because Nicki in the late 2000s and in the 2010s was a different beast. I gotta say, her last real good verse was on Motorsport before everything went down the drain. And honestly, the whole situation of them just going back and forth, like all these tweets that we see, Nicki talking about Cardi C's pregnancy and calling her evil, and even like Cardi B bringing in the kids, it's exhausting. Cardi B herself is pregnant and she's still dealing with divorcing Offset. They're not divorced yet. That's gotta be a lot of stress. To add that on top of that, she's igniting something that is very, very deep. And like I said before, Nicki has had one hell of a career. And to drag this beef on or even start it again is really beneath her and beneath her legacy. I don't think I think a lot of people realize, especially millennials, there was a time where Nicki was the only one in that female rap lane. There's a lot of women that tried, but never really succeeded past Nicki Minaj. And so there was a lot of eyes on her. And so she loved that. She was used to that. It was for her. But somewhere along the line, the stuff started slipping. I gotta say. And it had nothing to do with Cardi B. And I honestly feel like, Nicki felt like a lot of these female rappers, I'm trying to figure out how to say this right, that these female rappers that are out should be bound down to her feet or something. And that's crazy. Like, she's beefed with every young female rapper, a young woman that is in the rap game right now. She's beefing with all of them. And I'm like, I think to myself, Nicki, baby, these girls are rappers and they do what they do because of the platform that you set up when they were kids or in high school or younger. Like Little Kim and Foxy Brown, to me, that's what to me is what like Lotto and Megan and a lot of the young girl rappers now, Nicki is to them or was to them until they met her and they just went crazy. It just went crazy. Like, I was reading an article from BuzzFeed and they noted how the fan bases, Barb's and Barty Gang, keep pouring the gas on the fire too. Oh yeah. These fan bases, they be doing too much, especially Barb's. And I feel like I might get attacked if I talk too much about him, but the Barb's sometimes can be a little much. I get it. Y'all love Nicki. I totally understand. But the behavior is unhinged and unnecessary. People are allowed to have opinions, especially those of us that have seen where Nicki was at her best, okay, to now what we see. And it's a huge change. And it's not to say that we're not fans of her music or her legacy. We're just not fans of her behavior. The behavior needs to change. Yeah, that's basically what it is. So whatever she has going on or what has been happening, the past years or so, I truly believe and I truly hope that she will get to the help that she needs. I think she will bounce back in a huge way and she will tell us a real story. In the meantime, she's distracting us with this beef with Cardi B that's unnecessary just because Cardi B album went 2 times platinum already, which is a huge feat. Congratulations, Cardi B. Double platinum on her second album and the first woman to ever have 2 #1 albums on the billboards. Oh, that's why I love that girl. I love her because she just be herself. I want to be able to do the same thing without being judged. And I love her for it. She makes me want to do that more. Nicki, on the other hand, I'm just going to pray for her, okay? I'm just going to pray for that girl and just pray. She going to be in my prayers. That's the hardest thing. She going to be in my prayers because when she comes to whatever she got going on, I don't know what it is, her evil spirits or whatever, when she comes to and she realized some of the things that she was doing and saying, she going to be on an apology tour, especially with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Because she was dragging Jay-Z. I think that Beyonce going to be like, girl, not the way you was talking about my man. Because Beyonce don't play about Jay. She did not play about Hov, okay? At all. That's going to be the first person she apologized to. Jay-Z and Beyonce. She gonna be like, I don't want to lose my friends like Kanye lost his brother. Too late, girl. You done lost them. Lost them. And with that, that is today's pop off. Okay, we hit on Diddy sentencing, of course. Bad Bunny's big halftime show, which I'm gonna be dancing. About to learn me some steps and some more songs. Okay, and Cardi versus Nicki beef part do. How you say it? We just say part 2. Maybe if they just decide to like get together and make a diss album together and they just diss each other on it, maybe we can get something out of that. So we discussed all of these things, or we talked about these things here. So now it's your turn. Here's my pop-off question of the week. Do you think Nicki and Cardi will ever squash their beef, or will it be one of the biggest rivalries in hip-hop history? Of course, I want you to drop your comments below here, because now you can do it on Spotify and YouTube. I want to hear what you think. You can talk as nasty as you want to, just not towards me, because I will block you. I'm just telling you the truth right now. Until next time, my people, you've been listening to the Pop Off. I'll check you out next week.